My name is Clark Denman, and I am a childbirth educator and doula here at the Young Women's Resource Center. I'm also part of the Young Moms team with Jules.
I'm Jules Smith with Young Women's Resource Center. I'm also a childbirth educator and doula. Today, we're going to be talking to you a little bit about birth planning. Birth plans, they tend to be pretty lengthy, but we're going to give you some short steps to creating a birth plan and give you some ideas how you can look up things to help better educate yourself. So what is a birth plan? It's a map that plans your labor, your birth, and your postpartum experience. This helps your providers and your nurses be aware of your wishes.
It is important to have a birth plan so that everybody that is involved in your birth can know exactly your needs and your wants and make sure that you're getting exactly everything that you need. Anything that you request at all, whether it sounds out of this world or it's something kind of common.
Birth plans, they kind of look different. You can Google search them and you'll come up with all different kinds. We're going to talk about some main parts of birth plans. So first, we talk about early labors. Like, what do you want in early labor? Do you want to stay in a dark room? Do you want to be in the shower? Do you want to be by yourself? Do you want your doula with you? Like some ideas of what you want when you first start having contractions and where you want to be and what you want to do. So next we would talk about like active labor. That would be on your birth plan. When things start speeding up, you're usually at the hospital when you get to active labor. What do you want? Do you want somebody to rub your back? Do you want music? Do you want essential oils? Like, it can be anything that you want. Also, in active labor, you know, some people put on their birth plan like cervix checks. Like, how many cervix checks do you want? Do you want minimal amount? Do you want to do it whenever they tell you to do it? Things like that. What are some things that you think is important to talk about in active labor?
Also, in active labor, just kind of anything, like even the volume of voice that somebody's talking about. Sometimes as a doula, we get really close, we get very intimate, and people are like, that's a little too close. Right. So we can talk about that and how they feel about that. I know you've had a couple of births as well where people want to get into water. Yeah. They're like, hey, I just want to chill out on some water, kind of cool my contractions down. That helps with a massage. So it's many things. It can be anything from give me some ice to I need to get in a bath. So we basically help with all of that.
The next section we talk about would be like newborn care. So like after your baby is born, what do you want to happen? Do you want your baby to go straight to your chest? Do you want to breastfeed? Do you want to leg cord clamping? Do you want your partner to cut the cord? Like all those small things are very important to write down so that your providers know your wishes, as well as your doula, your partner, like so everybody understands what you want so it can be the best experience that you can have. Lastly, you can also put your postpartum care. So after your baby's born, what do you want for yourself? Do you want to have visitors right away? Do you want no visitors right away? Do you want an ice pack? Do you want no medications, like no Tylenol? Like just different things like that so they know exactly what you want.
And even kind of cosmetic things, like do you want to change into your own clothes? Do you want to take a shower? Do you want your partner to help? Like anything, because we know how it feels after having a baby. It can get kind of tough.
Yes. So lastly, we're going to just put up some key terms that you can look up. So knowledge is power. You don't know the options you have unless you research it and look into it and understand what's happening. So we're gonna write some terms down that we think would be really great for you to look up, check into, so then you can educate yourself more about the birth process.
So the first thing that we're gonna talk about here is gonna be things to do in labor. So certain things like positions. So a little to elaborate a little bit, when we talk about positions, do you want to be squatting? Do you want to be on your back? Do you want to be on your side? Do you want to be on all fours? There's so many positions that we can try in birth that a lot of people aren't aware of. The next thing is going to be essential oils. What kind of scents do you like? What kind of scents are going to make you nauseous? What kind of scents are just going to make you feel good? Is lavender going to calm you or is it going to make you sick? So that's something that we love to talk about and put in a birth plan. Next is mood settings. With the mood setting, we always try to get so it's peaceful, or some people like to feel energized. So it can be the lighting, it can be the music, it can be the people around you, it can be smells like essential oils, back to that, anything for the mood. And next we're gonna talk about things to do while you're pushing, so pushing positions. So originally, we always used to think as doulas, we can go in there and have the mother do whatever position that she wants. But actually, sometimes you need to ask the provider what positions are okay. So as a doula, we can help advocate that for you as well, or you can ask for yourself. So either is fine. Next is medications for pain. So are you going to want any kind of fentanyl? Are you going to want an epidural? And if so, what are the steps that we need to take? When are you going to want that, and when is it appropriate for you to have that? So a lot of mothers also like to do natural births, so they might not need any medications, but we still need to talk about that as well. Next, we're going to have if you want a doula or not. You can kind of talk about what a doula is going to be useful for, why we need a doula, how a doula can be helpful to you in your birth and can help improve your outcome for your birth. Next is an episiotomy. So a lot of people do not know what an episiotomy is, but episiotomy is when they cut you to open up so that the baby can come through. A lot of women prefer not to have episiotomies, but some, they feel like it's okay. So we kind of just need to talk about what is your limits when it comes to episiotomy. Next, we're going to talk about circumcision. Circumcision is something that really needs to be talked about, whether you want it for your son or in some cultures for the daughter. It needs to be something that's discussed and what the mother will want and feels comfortable with. Next is newborn medications and vaccines. This one is highly important because every mother needs to know exactly what vaccines that she wants or doesn't want. Also what kind of immunity things that they want. Some people just get vitamin K and that's it, but some they like to get all of the vaccines or none at all. But this is just something that everybody needs to discuss and talk about. Next is breastfeeding. The importance of breastfeeding and whether you want to breastfeed or not needs to be discussed ahead of time because there's a lot of things that go into that. It could be the golden hour, it can be skin to skin contact, it could be do you want to breastfeed right away or after bath, or if you want to breastfeed at all, the baby needs formula sometimes right after. So it all depends on what the mother is wanting. The golden hour, as I just mentioned, is also something that's very important for some mothers. The golden hour is that first hour after baby is born, whether you want them to be skin to skin and how you want them to connect with you and how you want them to feed and find the nipple and be able to get the breast milk. Next is delayed bath. Some mothers like to wait and some don't. Some want their babies to have a bath as soon as they come out, but some they like to say, I don't want my baby to have a bath for at least 48 hours, and that's okay, but that just needs to be known so that the nurses know and so that the doula knows as well to advocate for that. Lastly, we're gonna do delayed newborn care. So it could be anything from delayed cord clamping to the ACOG assessment, anything that needs to be done after a newborn comes out. Basically, if you want to delay, do you just want to spend that time with your baby? And that is allowed to be asked. So anything that you want can be asked for, and that just needs to be in the birth plan so we can advocate for you as doulas or so that your partner or family can advocate for you. Jules?
I think the biggest thing to take away today is that knowledge is power. You don't know your options unless you learn about your options. So take some time to think about your birth, think about what you want. We're always here to help you. At the Young Women's Resource Center, write a birth plan, get a doula, come to childbirth ed classes. We're here for you. So just let us know.